Hello, I'm Graham Jones and welcome to channel KT4, broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube. You can join in by sending in questions during the show. Just press the comments button on the screen. Don't forget to click the like or share buttons. If you're watching on YouTube, please click to subscribe to channel KT4. I'm so pleased to be able to welcome here into my virtual studio the Mayor of Epsom and Ewell, Councillor Humphrey Reynolds. Welcome, Mr. Mayor.
Hello, good welcome. Nice to see you face to face, Graham, at long last.
Yeah, well, it took a while to get here, with a couple of technical issues, but we've done it. And I put it down to the snow myself that's outside at the moment.
Well, it's actually melting a bit around our way, so the temperature's obviously going up, which is good news.
Well, that is good news. Always good news. So, Humphrey, can I call you Humphrey or shall I call you Mr. Mayor?
No, you call me Humphrey, please.
Okay, Mr. Mayor.
My
Okay, Humphrey, you were appointed mayor in May last year. So could you tell me the process of how you become the mayor of Epsom and Ewell?
Yes, people are asked if they wish to be the mayor or the deputy mayor to start with. And not many people do it straight off, but I thought about it long and hard, and I discussed it with my wife, because it means giving up a lot of your own time so that you can spend time with other people. And we eventually decided, yes, okay. And we have a council meeting, which is a mayor making, where we have a change of leadership, if you like. The current mayor steps down and the deputy mayor steps up, and the new deputy mayor then, because they've all left the room by then, and then they come back in. I'm not sure how we're going to do it this year because of we're doing everything virtually. It's quite funny. I chair the council meetings, which is the job of the mayor. But you can't see anybody. It's very odd. It really is odd. But we'll get by.
I can imagine. I've got a nice picture of you here in all your regalia, looking very fine indeed. And am I seeing this right? Are you wearing a chain of office at the moment?
I am.
Show our viewers your wonderful chain of office.
That's the badge that hangs from the bottom of the chain. I mean,
could you show that again so we get a clearer picture of it?
Yeah, I've got to let go of my lead, as they say. Don't move.
Oh, there we go. Just up a little bit more, if you could, Humphrey. All right. Now, how old is that?
Well, I don't know. We've been a borough since 1937, so I would assume some of the names on these little tablets. You can see the tablets. I've got the names of past mayors, and it's quite a memorable thing. Actually, it's an honour to wear it, and of course a privilege.
I can imagine. Now, it must be really difficult for you to carry out your normal ceremonies during this kind of year. Now, have you managed to chair various meetings, such as the full meeting of the council? I know you did attend the Remembrance Day service. So you can tell us a little bit about that.
Sorry, I believe you asked me about how I chair the meetings. We run our meetings. We do them virtually, which means the councillors sit at home and tune in. Members of the public can tune in as well and can listen to the council, but you can't speak, which is probably just as well. We'd never get finished. But we've got a very important meeting coming up. I've got a meeting in 2 days' time to discuss the agenda for our next meeting, which is the budget meeting, which of course affects us all. That's where we have to pay up a bit of money to pay for things. Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. It's a simple process. We can have proposals and about items and things like that. You have a proposer and a seconder, and we have a system whereby people get a chance to speak and give their opinion of what they're talking about, and it works out very peacefully. Actually, it's very, very few rows. If they are, they're behind the scenes and nobody sees them. We're quite a well-behaved council, not at all like the one that hit the news last week, which we're not going to talk about because the poor lady, she didn't deserve what she got, and of course it's gone worldwide now. Well, and she's still smiling. I can't understand it. I'll let her get on with it. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
So it was quite amazing.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. It's. I'm sure they reached the decision at the end. There's a picture up there now of my wife and I. That's the memorial in the cemetery up the Ashley Road. We just laid a wreath behind in memory of all those dead in the wars and things. We did a tour of memorials to lay wreaths. There are a number of small ones that people may not be quite aware of. They only get a mention really once a year when we go around and see them. But the main ones are the cemetery and, of course, the one in the churchyard at St Mary's in Ewell, where we normally have a big parade. Of course, we couldn't have a big parade this year. We did have a small gathering of people, like Chris Grayling came, the Member of Parliament, and people from British region. The British Legion came along, and we all laid. There was a very small ceremony, just to remember. We had a member of the Silver Band, hidden and out of sight. Quite amusing, really. But you could hear the noise. You could hear what he was playing, which was lovely, really. The police tried to stop us doing that, to be honest, but we knew that we were right. We were permitted to do it because we were taking all the precautions. There were no crowds. We had people on the gates or the entrances to the churchyard to stop people coming in. They could stand outside on the pavement and look in. We can't stop people doing that. And it went off quite well. It was it's a shame we didn't have the parade of armed services. The Silver Band normally turn up and play music, and it's really very nice ceremony. But we were reduced to just doing it very calmly and quietly, and it worked out very well.
Well, it's good that at least to honour the fallen in even though a small way, I think. So that's very good. Well done you for making that happen. And it's always good as you being the mayor to actually get out and see the public, which has been very difficult for you to do during your term of office.
Well, the way I describe it, Graham, is that I've managed to carry out my civic function, which is there was VE Day and VJ Day and Remembrance Sunday and that type of thing. I've managed to do those without too much problem. But anything social and anything to do with my charities, I haven't been able to do a thing, and it's so frustrating. I've decided now I can't worry too much about it, otherwise I'll worry myself into the grave, and I don't really want to do that. Not yet, anyway.
I'm sure you don't. Look, I'd like to thank Cyprus Garden Services for supporting our local Residents Association magazine, The Cuddingtonian. Cyprus Garden Services are a friendly local business run by husband and wife team Andy and Caroline. Thanks for all the work that you're doing, guys. So thank you. Now, the mayor selects 3 charities to support during their year in office. So which charities, Humphrey, did you select?
I'd selected 3, as you mentioned. Age Concern Epsom and Ewell is one. Love Me, Love My Mind, and Epsom and Ewell Community Fund. Age Concern, I'm sure you probably understand what they're about, and they do all sorts of things to help those of us who are getting on a bit, and I include myself in that. I used to drive for them, take people to a hospital or doctor's appointments or the dentist or things of that nature, and it really is. It's a wonderful thing to do. So if you feel like volunteering, that's a good thing to do. you find that people who are very subdued and quiet when they get in your car, within 100 yards, they're chattering away. They're so pleased to have someone to talk to. It's quite often although they've got their own rooms and they've got a lounge or something like that, they won't use the lounge. They'd rather stay on their own, which is a shame, which means they don't get to talk to people, even people in their own building. You do see a change, though, as I say, when they get in the car. Love Me, Love My Mind is a... Sorry, carry on.
Age concern just a moment, because I was reading it, and it's all about befriending, isn't it? That's a really important issue, and volunteers are spending about an hour or so a week to go and sit with people, particularly in this difficult time, and because people are lonely and now more than ever isolated, and it's giving not only friendship but information and advice. I also see what I found absolutely fascinating, Humphrey, is that for some of the elderly and the isolated, there's a DIY service now. So somebody has a bit of DIY work that needs to be done, they can get that done. Or even, Humphrey, IT work as well. I just read that this morning, and fascinating to read all the wonderful work that your charity here does. So, yeah, I think we should give them a big shout out for all the work that they're doing. And I'm sure, particularly during this difficult time, they are managing to help the elderly and more isolated within our community.
Yes, you mentioned the computing, and that's quite interesting. One of our trustees came in and spoke to them and convinced them that it's a good idea. And what he's done is introduce Skype to a lot of people, so people can talk to relatives on the other side of the world. And of course, that makes a big difference, because the loneliness and the fact they've no one to talk to is a big problem. It must be immense this year when nobody can see anybody or talk to anybody. Our visitors, we have, excuse me, I'm going to cough for a second. Our home visitors go in and see people once a week and stay for about an hour. Most of that is just therapeutic to help them and make them realize they're still alive, and it's important. But it's important for them to realize that there are people around who want to help. And all the charities do that. There's no question there. The second charity is Love Me, Love My Mind, which deals with things mental and gives a lot of help to people who are challenged in various ways. And it's so good to see how people are helping them. It's very good. I know they've got a person who goes around the schools actually and does talk to the pupils with the help of the staff, obviously. And it's such a useful function. It really is very helpful. I was privileged last year when I was deputy mayor to go to their annual service where they hand out certificates for people who've done good things. And a lot of them were the patients themselves. And they're so pleased to be involved and do all sorts of things, like, support in events like making the tea or something. And it's so important for them to feel wanted. And it's worked a treat. It was really nice. And the smile on their faces when they come up to get their certificates is quite something.
That's quite. So I notice also that they have a mental health and well-being festival, which of course should have been held in October of last year.
Yep.
And I don't know whether there's any planning for that to happen this coming year. I did have a look on the website, but it's the website at the moment is either being rebuilt or it's down, or so I couldn't get any up-to-date information, sadly, about this charity.
Yes, there are no plans as far as I know to do it. They want to do it, obviously, but I think they're going to wait until everything's clear now. They're not going to risk anything. Yes, and the last charity, the community fund. The important thing about all these charities that I've chosen are they're Epsom and Ewell based. They're not national charities. If you send a check in to Age Concern, please make it out to Age Concern, Epsom and Ewell. Otherwise, it will go in the great big pot, and the people in Epsom and Ewell won't see it. I'd love them to see it. The community fund deal with all sorts of things, where sometimes it might be a football club who suddenly find they can't, an amateur club, they can't get the money together to buy the kit. So these people invest money, and the money they earn from those investments goes towards helping worthy causes. There's no illness or age or mental health or anything to do with that one. They're just people trying to help the community because they can't help themselves. That's all. But I do emphasize it. Sorry.
Yeah, I did notice with them. It's a rather different sort of charity to the other two in many ways, because this is, as it says, is a community fund. So it has an amount of money. That money comes into the fund through donations, through legacies, through property donations and various other things. So, there's a lot of ways here to support the community fund. And then, of course, people within the community can then apply to the fund to get support, as you just said, for example, with the football strips for a local youth football team. I think I should actually apply to them for support in running my community news magazine program. But I think it's a very good, very, very good charity indeed, Humphrey.
Yes, I was very pleased. But then what happens, of course, is you pick 3 charities, and then everybody bombards you with requests to be a charity, to be one of your charities. And it really does become slightly overwhelming and a little late, because you can only pick 3. You need only pick 1 if you want, but 3 is better. It spreads it out a bit more, except in this exceptional year. That's all.
Could I ask, because I was looking at the choice of charities that you have here. Age Concern, particularly important this year. Mental health issues with Love Me, Love My Mind, again, very important at this particular year of your office. And then, of course, as I said, the difference is with the Epsom and Ewell Community Fund, which allows people to come in and support that particular fund and actually draw funds from it. So when did you make the decision on your 3 that you were going to use? You became mayor in May. Was the decision made months before, or was it made when you became the mayor?
It was made around about Christmas time, just before Christmas. So that's about 5 months in advance. Well, you have to warn people. Sorry, that's what?
It's amazing, isn't it, that you made those choices in December before the pandemic had come into consciousness, and but they proved to be a really good selection for your particular year in office, dare I say.
My virtual office.
Yeah. So do you think it will be possible, when it's safe to do so, to visit shopping centres, etc., so that people in the communities can chat to their mayor in these difficult times? I really believe, actually, Humphrey, that, I'm sorry to go on my little high horse here, but I actually believe that everybody needs to see normality. That's something that we used when I was in the military. If we could do something that would prove normality, that would be like a band playing somewhere or whatever. And I think that if the mayor in his regalia is seen at Epsom shopping centre, people could say hello, could give their concerns, and it would be a bit of normality to actually engage with the head of their council.
Well, I have done that once. When the first lockdown was lifted, I went round to a few shops and businesses and spoke to the people running the shops, and also I went into the building society, Abbey National. Unfortunately, the person I needed to talk to was tied up with a customer, and I'm sure that was more important than a visit by the mayor. But I went round to other businesses, and you could see the smile on people's faces. They were so pleased to be starting work again, because I think they realised the economic problems as well as the health problems of being in lockdown, and suddenly we're out of it, which is great. It's not the best thing to be in, is lockdown, but you can see that I saw the people that I'd seen were happy now because they were trading again. And of course, not long after, we had another lockdown, and we've had too many lockdowns. We probably needed them. I'm not arguing against that, but the effect on everybody has been horrendous. Not been good at all. Anyway, I think we're now, with the vaccine and what have you, that we're beginning to come through the woods, and I'm so pleased about that. I'm a bit disappointed with people who are refusing to take the vaccine. I can't quite work out what they're trying to prove, but well, maybe they're worried about any side effects or whatever. I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah, it seems logical. And just going back to the age concern bit, I'm sure you were mentioning about you being a driver for age concern. I'm sure that they're quite busy at the moment taking the old and the old elderly folk and taking them to the vaccination centres.
And also just simple things like taking their prescriptions in and picking the medicines up, and then taking the medicines back to them. It's such a simple service, but again, it's a contact, and there's the patients, if you like, are so pleased to have someone to talk to, even if it's only for a few minutes.
Humphrey, I've got a comments question come in from one of our viewers. I'll put it up on the screen for you so you can see it, and it's from Charlotte. For any help with DIY or IT as mentioned, as well as a range of free information and advice, you can call Age Concern Epsom and Ewell on, I can't read that, 01372 732 456, Mondays to Fridays, 9:30 to 1 p.m. Charlotte, thank you very much for giving us that information. Very useful indeed.
Yeah, Charlotte works for Age Concern and does a brilliant job for them. I know she does. The whole point, it might be something simple like a door handle's come loose, which makes it difficult to open a door. Don't be embarrassed if it's too simple. I'm sure they want to help. And they've got good people who I don't think they'll rip you off with the price, which is rather important, but also they'll do a good workmanlike job. You know, it's excellent. It's good news.
I've got another comment has come in, and I think you'll particularly like this one, Humphrey. There it is. Thank you, Humphrey. Lovely to see you. And this is from
Dora May Hancock.
There you go. I take it that's a friend of yours.
She's the chief executive of Age Concern, Epsom and Ewell.
Oh, well, Age Concern is certainly getting a good shout out this morning, Humphrey.
They do love publicity. There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. So, Mr. Mayor, thank you for joining me in my virtual studio here at Channel KT4. It's been fascinating finding out about the civic role of the mayor. And can I wish you well in this very strange year for the remainder of your tenure? Over to you, Mr. Mayor, for your final words.
Right. Well, first of all, I haven't been out of my house to do anything serious, but once. That's since New Year's Day. And that once was to go and have my first vaccination. And I wasn't going to miss that.
Okay.
And the people you meet in the queue, I mean, they're quite chatty. They don't know who I am because there's not enough publicity because we're just not having events. But I don't mind that. That's unimportant. They're happy and they're cheerful. And the ones although you have to wait some time, and if you haven't had it, and I know they're saying that everyone's had it over 70, that might not be true. So if it isn't true and you haven't been done yet, please contact the authorities. They'll help you out.
Good. Thank you very much for those words of wisdom, Humphrey. This is Graham Jones. Join me next time on Channel KT4 when my guest will be Shelley from Baking Mad in support of the wonderful work of the National Health Service. Until then, stay safe and bye now.
Bye.